Good evening, visitors. Welcome to the Australian War Memorial's closing ceremony. My name is Michael Kelly, and joining us this evening from the Australian Army is Lieutenant Colonel Michelle Mason. We welcome the veterans who have served, those that are still serving, and the families that support them. We acknowledge the members of RSL and Services Clubs Association, RSL Victoria and RSL Queensland, who are watching the broadcast of this ceremony across Australia. During this evening's ceremony, wreaths will be laid at the base of the pool of reflection. Please stand and join in singing the Australian National Anthem.
Australians, oh, let us rejoice, for we are young and free. We've golden soil and wealth for toil, our home is birthright sweet. Our land abounds in nature's gifts, of beauty rich and rare. In history's page let every state advance Australia fair. In joyful strains then let us sing, advance Australia fair.
The Australian War Memorial was the vision of Charles Bean, Australia's First World War official historian. Bean landed with the Australian troops on Gallipoli and stayed with them at the front through to the end of the war. The idea of this national memorial and museum came to him at Pozières, France, in the depths of the bloody fighting of 1916. Bean's idea was that this would be a place where families and friends could mourn loved ones buried in faraway places. It would also be a place that could help all Australians understand what these men and women had endured and what they had done for us. Bean's vision, to which we remain true, is best expressed as inscribed in the entrance to the memorial's galleries. Here is their spirit, in the heart of the land they loved, and here we guard the record which they themselves made. Tonight, we will read the story behind just one of those on the Roll of Honour, which lists the names of more than 102,000 men and women who have given their lives for us in war and operations over more than a century. But first we present a lament, Flowers of the Forest. Wreaths or floral tributes will now be laid at the base of the pool of reflection.
Today, we remember and pay tribute to Corporal Philip Dennis Northrop. Philip Northrop was born on the 2nd of February 1897, the eldest son of Walter and Nellie Northrop of Don, Tasmania. Northrop was keenly interested in military matters and was an enthusiastic member of the local cadets, in which he gained the commissioned rank of lieutenant. Northrop was too young to enlist in the outbreak of war, but in June 1915, the minimum age was lowered, and in August, Northrop volunteered for service in the Australian Imperial Force at the age of 18 and a half. He was posted to the 12th Battalion with the rank of corporal and began training with the 11th Reinforcements at Claremont's camp. After a period of training in Australia, Northrop was sent to Egypt to complete his training before joining his battalion in the field. His letters home spoke of his enjoyable voyage and his longing to get into the trenches and do his bit on active service. However, about a week before Christmas 1915, he fell ill, complaining of pains in his stomach and difficulty in breathing. He was sent to a local hospital on Boxing Day, but his condition deteriorated and he was sent on to the 1st Australian General Hospital in Heliopolis. Despite the best efforts of staff at the hospital in Heliopolis, Northrop's condition continued to deteriorate, and he was eventually diagnosed with acute tuberculosis. One of the nurses caring for him, Sister Emma Cuthbert, wrote that Northrop had lots of care and attention and everything possible was done for him, and there was nothing we couldn't get for him. When his condition became critical, we were able to give him a small room to himself, where it was nice and quiet for him. Although the staff encouraged him to write to his family, Northrop said he preferred not to, thinking it would cause them to worry. Northrop's mates, Corporals Field and Chapman, wrote to his parents to say, "We visited him several times during his illness, when he was always in good spirits, and we expected him to recover." Despite all efforts, Northrop eventually lapsed into unconsciousness and died on the 15th of January 1916. Sister Cuthbert wrote, "It is with deep regret I have to write of his death, a lad too young who had volunteered his services for his country. He was a general favourite with everyone." Corporal Philip Northrop was buried in the Cairo War Cemetery. He died 18 days short of his 19th birthday. His name is listed on the Roll of Honour on my right, among more than 60,000 Australians who died while serving in the First World War. His photograph is displayed by the Pool of Reflection. This is but one of the many stories of service and sacrifice told here at the Australian War Memorial. We now remember Corporal Philip Dennis Northrop, who gave his life for us, for our freedoms, and in the hope of a better world.
People, if I could ask everybody to stand up.
They shall grow not old, as we that are left grow old. Age shall not weary them, nor the years condemn. At the going down of the morning, of the sun and in the morning, we will remember them.
We will remember them.
lest we forget.
Lest we forget. We leave you this evening with the words of the memorial's founder, Charles Bean. Many a man lying out there at Pozières or in the low scrub at Gallipoli, with his poor tired senses barely working through the fever of his brain, has thought in his last moments, well, it's over. But in Australia, they'll be proud of this. Ladies and gentlemen, that concludes the last post ceremony this evening. Thank you very much for visiting today, and good evening.